Hello, everyone, and welcome to Saturday. It's currently about 3.
Yeah.
About 3. In about half an hour, there'll be time for more medicine and another little walk and some gum. Mal hates the gum. But the day's been going pretty good. Mal is walking, kind of. I mean, she still needs help. She can't be trusted to be by herself, but everything up to this point has been kind of a shuffle.
Yeah, I'm able to pick my feet up like a person again.
Mal's actually, walking a lot better. Going to the bathroom a lot better.
Able to flip in bed on my own.
Yeah. I
mean,
I was surprised about that.
The way I used to flip would be to kind of throw myself in the air and try and do it in air, before surgery. But now it's just a very careful rolling and moving limbs carefully and bracing my belly.
But
I did it.
Mal, we haven't done a shower here, but we finally got Mal clean.
The tubs are... I'm allowed to shower. I was allowed to shower immediately. But it's a garden tub.
And you have to step over it, and that's just not possible.
It's not a good... It's not safe.
It's not a walk-in shower. So a full shower's gonna have to wait till we get home. But
where we have a walk-in shower.
Yeah, but we used wipes and stuff. And Mal also was able to brush her teeth, put on deodorant. She braided her hair.
Oh yeah, because I had done top knot for surgery, and then when we got back here for the first time, I had you redo the top knot.
Mm-hmm.
And then yesterday, after I woke up and saw the end of stream and said hi, I just pulled everything down, and since then it just became more and more of a knot in the back of my head.
Yeah.
So I spent a half hour brushing my hair out and braiding it.
Looks good.
Yeah.
You did a good job. And Mal did that. I can't braid hair. I'm not good enough.
You helped me because I always
helped.
find when I braid, the ends get all knotted below my fingers.
I did what I could. Today, Mal is feeling a lot better, which is good.
Yeah.
We are only here for today. We will be out. We have to be out of here by 11 a.m. in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we're finally ready to talk about how the surgery went, because we've talked a little bit about it on stream. We've been telling, friends, family, etc., but we haven't told the vlog, and I think that's what we want to do today. So this is what surgery found inside of Mallory.
Yeah, and at some point I'm sure we'll do a post-op, how I'm doing after I'm healed or as I'm healing.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's a daily vlog. It's we're always going to be talking about what's going on. Yeah. But I think this will be a big vlog, because not only is it going to be what was found inside of Mal, but it's also it's probably going to answer some other questions.
Yeah.
And it's weird to think that this vlog will probably be a relatively heavy, important one in the scope of all the vlogs we've done. But based on how many questions we've gotten over the years about things, I think this vlog will actually be really important.
Yeah.
Let's start by taking us back in time to just a few days ago. Mal goes in, and how it works in the surgery is that they call me. So Mal goes in for the surgery, and I was in the pre-op, and I got to meet the nurses and the surgeon. And we never really talked, I think, a lot about that. But these were some of the nicest thinking people.
Yeah, they are.
I don't think I've ever in my entire life seen a doctor and a nurse with this bedside manner. I mean, his personal nurse was
his surgical nurse.
Surgical nurse was the sweetest.
She came
person.
And did you film me in that bed? I don't remember.
I got a clip of it.
I had the bonnet on at that point, or I was under that space blanket.
You were under space blanket.
The surgical nurse came in, and she held my hand, and she, when you hold someone's hand, sometimes it's just like this, but she was rubbing my hand, and her other hand was on my shoulder and rubbing that, and she was talking to me about what was going to happen next, and we're going to take you into the OR, and we're going to move you up under the bed, and we're going to get you all comfortable, and it's going to be cold. And she was so nice. She's like, we're going to take really good care of you. And
she just kept saying that. And I was in there too, and she turned to me and she said, she is in good hands. She's like, we are going to take such good care of her. And it was just, I don't know, it not only was it the words and the actions, but also there's something about, sometimes when you meet people, you can just tell It's kind of hard to explain, but you just meet people who are good people. And it was just, wow, you really got that energy off of her.
Yeah.
And then the surgeon came in, and obviously Mal had met him before, but I had never actually had a chance to meet him. And he was such a sweet man.
And I mean, he did the same thing. He held my hand, and he rubbed his thumb on my hand, and he was saying the same thing. He's like, we're going to make sure that we get everything, and you're going to be really well taken care of. And he's like, he went over everything again, and
yeah, he was just a very gentle soul.
Yeah.
So whenever Mal went back for surgery, they said that they would call me about 40 minutes into the surgery, because I was in the waiting room.
Well, I can talk about what happened when I went out.
Oh, yeah, that'd be fine. Yeah.
That happens before this.
Yeah, that'd be great. I don't know that.
Well, they wheeled me into the OR, and I don't really remember going from the pre-op room to the OR.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I was just too anxious. That part's gone from my memory.
Sure.
But I remember going into the OR, and they put the bed up along the OR table, and they had me get up over there. And then the surgical nurse was on my left, and she grabbed my hand, and she was rubbing it again and telling me about things. And she's like, it's COVID, so I have a mask on. They all have masks on. And she's like, you have the prettiest blue eyes. And she's like, I think blue eyes are the best. And she's like, Dr. Sonerva, we got another one with blue eyes, just like yours. And she's talking about that. And he came over, and he was on my right. And they were both holding my hand. And I mean, there was the big light dish above me. And they were both so sweet. And I was so anxious. And I'm an anxious person. And I deal with anxiety. And I was so worried about everything, and I wasn't worried at that point. And I know they had given me some anti-anxiety meds at some point in my IV, but I felt very comforted by them.
Yeah.
And they were just talking about things, and I saw the mask come over, like the little, with the puff on it from the anesthesiologist, and they were like, all right, you're just going to take some deep breaths. And I remember taking 2, and that was the last thing I remember. And I felt very peaceful, and I felt very calm.
Yeah. From my end of it, whenever they took her back and I went into the waiting room, they told me that they would give me a call about 40 minutes later. And I said, okay. And then in the waiting room, they had a phone set up where they would call different people in the waiting room to talk to the folks in the back. So I, like clockwork, about 40 minutes later, I get a call, and they said, hey, Mr. George, Mallory's back here. She's doing good. We've gotten a chance to look inside. There is endo inside. And her left ovary is not looking very good. We're gonna do what we can for that, but it's not. It doesn't look very good at the moment. And her appendix is bad. Her appendix is definitely gonna have to go. And I was like, okay. And Mal had told me that prior, that most folks that get endo surgery lose the appendix, because that's one of the first places that gets affected by that.
And I was gaslit so long from medical community that, oh, you probably don't have endo. Oh, it's probably not that bad. And even days before surgery, like in pre-op, I remember, or my pre-op appointment on Tuesday, I remember walking into the building thinking, I'm just wasting the surgeon's time.
Yeah.
So
Mal was so worried.
Yeah.
For the last few months, has been worried about, what if I'm just wasting everyone's time? They're going to open me up. They're not going to find anything. And I was like,
it's all in my head.
I was like, first off, that's not true. But second off, even if it was, this person that is, working on you is going to know enough to be able to recommend what it would be next. I was like, It's not going to be a waste of anyone's time.
I know. Even when I know I'm going to jump ahead for just a second, but when I woke up, I was in a ton of pain. But I remember asking, I was like, did they find endo? And they were like, just calm down, sweetie. And I was like, no one told me until you told me. Anyway, go ahead.
So anyway, they told me after that first phone call, they said, we'll call you back in probably another hour. And I said, okay. So in another hour, they gave me another call back, and I walked up to the phone, and they said, so we got the appendix out. That left ovary was just riddled with cysts and endo, and they're like, we could not salvage that. And I said, okay. They said the right one is okay, so the right one can stay. And I said, okay. They said, however, they said Mal's has endo basically all through her pelvis. Like there's endo everywhere. They said the doctor does not feel comfortable leaving the uterus because there is endo like up in the back, and he is worried that if we do not do a full hysterectomy, that the endo will come back. And I said, okay.
And it's something I had given consent to.
Yeah, there was, and actually that was something that was asked many, many, many times, because leading up to it, they really want to make sure, like if the doctor has to do a full hysterectomy, is that something you're okay with? And Mal has said time and time before, yes, I want to be free of pain. I want to make sure that this is the only time I have surgery. I want to make sure that this goes away and does not come back. And we were prepared for that because they had talked to us about that even in pre-op, again, for, the umpteenth time. And we made it very clear, like, yeah, that's fine. And, for a lot of people, that news might be alarming, and that news might be painful,
yeah,
I think, for some folks. But I think it's really important for people to know, and this is something that we just haven't talked about in many, many years, although we have always been asked about it, is, do you want kids? And we don't. We don't want kids. And when we first got together, when we first got married, I think there was a desire there. We talked about it. And
it was always a someday thing then.
It was a someday thing. It was always like, at some point in the future. And people would ask about it, and we're gonna use this as a learning opportunity. Don't ask people. Don't do it. Just don't do it. Do not ask people, when are you having kids? If that's something that you do, stop. Don't do it anymore. Just don't do it. But we were asked a lot after we got married. It was always funny to me how, like, before you get married, people are like, you better not have any kids. You're not married. And then as soon as you get married, everyone's like, when are you having kids? I hate that. Stop doing that. So anyway,
as the years went on,
because we would get asked, and for a long time we answered it, which is probably stupid on our part, but like we would tell people, ask again in a year, ask again in 3 years, and we just kept pushing it back. And for what it's worth, I think we did at one point think that we would probably have kids.
Yeah,
we liked the idea.
We thought, someday we'll have kids.
We liked the idea. But we were busy. Life was busy. We certainly couldn't afford it, especially when we were, just getting started out. So it was like not even a consideration for us yet.
Yeah.
And as the years went on, we talked more and more about it, and we're like, we really like what we have.
Yeah.
We really like the lifestyle that we're living. We enjoy having cats. And it's not that we, hate the idea of having a kid, but like we prefer the idea of how we're living things now.
Yeah.
And
we like being able to travel, and
there's so many things, there's so many opportunities and things that are available to us because we don't have kids. And, it's not that I dislike kids, and I truly feel like we would be good parents. I really do.
Yeah.
And I think maybe that's the biggest mourning thing that I have, is that I feel like if we were to have a kid, I feel like we would do a pretty good job.
Yeah.
But for the last, I'd say at least 5 years, me and Mal have been very much on the exact same page that we didn't want kids. And I wanted to make sure that when we did this vlog that, when we've done breakfast stream and stuff, we've left out the hysterectomy part. Yeah. And it's because I want to frame it in the sense of like, we don't want kids, so it's okay.
This wasn't a
devastating news thing. I wanted to make sure that, because if I were to say that on breakfast stream, everyone would be like, oh my God. And I'm like, no. So that's why I wanted to wait until we had an opportunity to do something like this. Yeah. Where I could frame it within the context and say, listen, we don't want kids. We haven't wanted kids for at least for the past 5 years. And, leading up into this, we were very aware that hysterectomy was possible. It turns out Mal was worse than we thought. She was stage 4. So endo was everywhere, and the only way to be absolutely sure was to give her a full hysterectomy. So the recovery time is going to be a long time. It's one of those things that recovery for this was already going to take a few weeks before she would even feel remotely normal. It is going to take an extra few weeks because there is a full hysterectomy involved. That being said, we're in good spirits.
Yeah.
And if by some small inkling of a chance that we changed our mind about kids, there are still paths forward.
Yeah.
They're difficult and expensive.
Yeah.
And I don't think that we were using them, but if we ever were to change our mind, it's still there, but it's not really a huge concern because it's not what we want. Mal was really curious, and then after asked the doctor, said, if we were trying to have kids, what was my outlook like for that because I have endo?
Well, because my uterus was adhered to my bowels.
I should have mentioned that. Yeah, that was the other thing. And he didn't I don't think they told me that on the phone.
He told you that after?
It was after the surgery. The doctor actually came out and I talked to him face to face. He had photos and he showed me photos of mouse insides and was pointing out different things and talked about it. And one of the things that had happened, endo is kind of like a spider web. Like it causes all sorts of adhesions and cysts and stuff. But it's like it makes things stick together. And Mal's bowels were actually adhered to her uterus.
Which is probably why I had IBS stuff.
Yeah. So, not good.
Yeah.
Obviously, like, really, really bad. And, that was one of the reasons that they decided that the full hysterectomy was just the safest way to go. Because he was concerned that the endo would come back. And that was the one thing. That was the reason we went to this guy.
Top goal.
The top goal was like one surgery. That's why we fought insurance this whole freaking time. We lost that fight, although we plan to keep on fighting if we can. So
anyway, back to the question I asked him.
Yes.
I asked him what my chances were before this of having kids, just because I was curious. I said, we never really wanted to. I said, but I'm curious based on how bad I was.
Yeah.
Was I fertile or anything? Mm-hmm. And he said maybe 5 to 20% chance. So it was quite low.
Yeah, and that seems to be the case with a lot of folks that have endo.
A lot of people find out when they're unable to have kids.
When they're trying to have kids, they can't have kids, then they find out they have endo. So even if we would have tried to have a kid, it probably would have been very, very difficult, if not impossible.
Yeah.
But we are fortunate in that this news is not devastating to us.
Yeah.
It's something that's just like, okay, we can deal with that. The thing that it means to us is that Mao is very, very damaged inside, and it's going to take a long time to heal.
Yeah.
But we can work with that.
The other question I asked him, because he came to see me the morning of Thursday breakfast stream.
Yeah.
Right before breakfast stream, actually. And that's when I asked him that question. But I also asked him if I had insurance a year ago, when I was first talking to you, when I first was fighting insurance.
Yeah.
Would it have made a difference? And he said, you have been very sick for a very long time.
Yeah.
He couldn't tell me how long I have been at stage 4, but he said endo is very slow. He said, you've been very sick for a very long time.
And I would bet that Mal's been at stage 4 for at minimum the last 2 years, because the last 2 years have been hell for Mal.
And I think that's the saddest part for me.
She's been dealing with it for even longer. Yeah. We're still fortunate because the surgeon felt that he got everything. Surgeon gave it only a 10% chance of ever coming back, which is extremely low. And, we were very grateful for that because this disease is progressive and it can get worse. And
I count myself lucky that it didn't get to my diaphragm and have thoracic endo.
Yeah.
It didn't pass the diaphragm.
Yeah.
There was some on the outside of like bladder kidney stuff, but not inside. Yeah. There was some on the outside of my bowels, but not on the inside.
Yeah.
So I count myself lucky.
Yeah. And I mean, endo can cause a lot of different things to go wrong. Like endo will not kill you. Endo can cause cancer. So there's a lot of different things that endo is capable of. And if it's left untreated long enough, it can be bad. So even though it sucks that it took this long,
Yeah.
it's done.
Yeah. But I mean, my journey has been very long.
Yeah.
I mean, I've tried so many different birth controls that just haven't helped.
Yeah.
And birth control can help some women. It stopped helping me.
Yeah.
Which is why I started researching and finding someone who could actually help me.
Yeah. So that is the full story of what happened during surgery. And that also, I guess, finalizes the questions that still to this day get asked, although a little less, but still get asked, is when are you having kids? Don't ask us again. The answer is we're not. We're not. We love cats. I love all animals. Maybe one day we'll have a dog. But we have cats. Right now we have Kepler, and we love Kepler very much.
Yes.
And we enjoy our jobs. Gosh darn it, we do. Like we like what we do, and we want to keep doing it.
Yeah.
And we want to have the time to do it. And that's how we felt for the past 5 years, and now things feel a little more final with the hysterectomy, but we're fine with it.
Yeah.
We have not mourned that in any way whatsoever. So just wanted to make sure that we took this video to correctly place that context so people know what happened to Mal and the extent and why the recovery is going to be so long, but then also that we are okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. There's still a lot of day left. I'm going to go ahead and end the vlog here because I don't really suspect anything is going to change.
No. I plan to sit right here and be very sick of this apartment, and you are going to pack stuff up.
Yeah.
Because I'm only allowed to lift 10 pounds.
Yeah, in my opinion, you're not allowed to lift anything.
Yeah, I plan to not lift anything.
I'm going to get things packed up, and then we leave in the morning, and we'll go from there. And then we'll finally be getting home, but it's going to be a long car ride, and I'm not looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Thank you all so much for watching. Thank you for understanding, and, continue to watch as we take the rest of this journey.
Yeah.
The recovery journey's, it's going to be a long one, but we're doing it.
You're the best nurse.
Oh, I have a good patient. I love you.
Love you.
You're sweet. Let's meet back tomorrow, shall we?